You've lost the fucking plot.
History of Hardcore Podcast, Part 1.
You can't run and you can't hide. The old school will find you. And when it does, it'll take you there.
What's your name, mate?
Neville. Enjoying myself. Everybody else was enjoying themselves, you know. And a big shout going out to the toilet posse in the place. They're all in the toilet, buzzing their tits off because I've hit the toilet posse at car park.
'Cause we don't care.
So this has just come about recently. We had a lot of free time sitting around in a shop, as a lot of you probably know. I've moved from the music industry into bodybuilding and fitness with COVID recently. I had a lot of spare time on my hands, sitting around, and a friend of mine who owns this wonderful studio, Will, approached me, asked me to MC in some of his shows, and I basically politely told him to fuck off. There's no way I'm going to come down and MC in your studio, but we got talking, and another opportunity that sort of sprung to mind was to do some podcasts and talk a little bit about, you know, not just my history, in fact, less about my history in music, but talk about the history of a lot of influential artists and promoters that have helped build and create the scene that, you know, you have today. So it's, you know, it's all about the history. It's about where the music scene's come from, where the rave started, how it happened, who's who, what's happened. We want to hear about the background, not the things that people get to see when you're in a rave, but we're going to talk a lot about the things that people haven't heard about. You know, we're not here to cuss and to slander. We're here to talk about good times, and just let you guys know what happened behind the scenes as well as in front of the stage. We're pretty lucky today. We're joined by one of the most veteran promoters and most notorious loud and nasty MCs ever to have graced the scene. In the studio we have the main man. What's your name, mate?
Neville.
Where you from?
Coventry.
What you had?
Amnesia House.
Perfect. All right. So this guy basically, before I even started out in the rave scene, which was around 1993, this gentleman was involved with, let's say, some football shenanigans to start with, and moved through into becoming a promoter of one of the biggest music brands that we've ever known, the legendary Amnesia House. This guy really has seen and done a hell of a lot. We're going to run through a few questions. Hopefully we're going to get some answers. We want some nitty gritty stuff. We're not going to be a formal podcast. We don't want this to be sort of massively pre-rehearsed. We're going to relax. We're a couple of old friends, and we're going to sit here and we're just going to have a little bit of a talk about the old days. And, a bit of a chat, a bit of a knit and natter. Bounce a few questions off each other. So Nev, we're going to start out, bro. Just tell us where it started for you. When and where was the first rave you attended? How did it happen? What was your inception on the scene?
How it happened for me was, well, I've just got out of prison. I had, you know,
boy.
Not that I'm proud of that. Like,
No.
It's for football violence. I actually went to prison for, I hate to mention it, I actually chinned an Aston Villa fan.
You fucker.
You know, I mean, sorry Villa.
Sorry, I said this was a friend of mine. no, I lied.
Basically, you know, I went to prison for that, like, you know, and then so I got out of prison, and there was a warehouse party, and my brother Fred Fivey and Bam Bam, who was one of my best friends. I know Bam Bam. They were doing a warehouse party, and I turned up at this warehouse party. They asked me to do the door on this, you know, this warehouse party, and I was thought, you know, what's this? And so.
But were they expecting Villa fans to turn up? Were they?
I don't think the Villa were invited.
No.
You know, like,
Okay,
you know.
okay.
So anyway, I done the door. I think it was about 150 people turned up, and it was like acid house party. And
this is what year was this again, mate?
This was 88.
88. So this is the
the very beginning, like,
from where the house and block parties were evolving into.
Well, we come from like the Sharon and Tracy club sort of thing. Like, it was like, right, this is this new thing. So this first party happened, I was on the door and that. There was a strobe light, a bit of sound system, a bit of smoke, and 150 people like turned up, and that's how I first got introduced to this. And I thought, you know what, this is quite good. This is, you know. So that first party went down, and that, I mean, Amnesia House, it weren't called Amnesia House.
No, it wasn't.
Just an acid. The flyer was a little piece of paper with a man on it dancing. You know, come to this party. And that's what it was like. And then after that, I got involved in the second party because my brother-in-law Stuart Reed, who used to own the Eclipse, he had a fella with a mansion. And in the back garden of this mansion, we were going to set up a little stage.
And this is the mansion party that's in one of the documentaries you've done years ago, isn't it? Yeah,
it was in Fenny Drayton, in fact. So I got involved in that. I told Bam Bam and that. My brother had gone to Spain at this time and that, so I said to Bam, look, we've got this garden in this mansion. So we done the second party there. You know, it was illegal. Well, it weren't illegal. No one knew. You know, it wasn't illegal. So it was a private party. No one knew where the party was going to be. So, you know, we had convoys of cars, meeting points all around. Anyway, brought the convoys in, set up in it was a summer's evening, beautiful weather. And
perfect for a party.
Perfect for a party.
Good vibe.
Good vibe. And that was the second party we'd done at Fenny Drayton. And I'll never forget this night. During the party, there was 2 police women there, who were just on a night out. Anyway, they were just on a night out, but some of the lads there said, there's old Billy here, basically. And they were just on a night out. Anyway, I wouldn't let these 2 police officers leave, because I thought they were going to tip off their colleagues.
Tip off the old Bill.
They were just on a night out. Now, it's actually mentioned in a friend's book, this scene. It's by Jeff Thompson.
Right, I'm familiar with Jeff Thompson.
Watch My Back.
Yeah.
And he described me down to a T.
Very notorious man in Coventry back in the day. We're going to talk a little bit about that later.
And so anyway, this rave went on. I sort of started on the mic then, because there was police officers in the fields, with cameras taking photographs. And I was on the microphone going, security to the fields, there's people, police. Anyway, we'd done this party anyway, and it went down successful. And that's where it sort of progressed from there. This was the illegal side of things. And that was the second party. And then we got a barn in Coventry. Where I think it was house 3 or something like that, house 2 or 3. So we done this barn party, and that got bigger again. There was 300 people come to that, and then we done house 4 in the barn again, and it just progressed from there. But we were doing illegal parties. And they weren't legal. The authorities didn't know actually what was going on in them days.
The police were a little bit, let's say, they didn't have the technology they have these days, did they? They didn't have the upfront knowledge.
No, but what is, they didn't actually know what the hell was going on with these acid parties. You know, we were just doing these parties.
Out the blue.
We weren't hurting anybody. And so anyway, it started growing. More people were into it. Obviously, these tablets come out, ecstasy tablets.
I don't know what you're talking about, mate.
Well, yeah. So people started taking these ecstasy tablets, and then everybody that hated each other started to like each other. You know, instead of, you know what, I used to hate you, but you know what, you're not that bad, you ain't. You know, I used to shake hands at him and say, you know, you'll sound you. So we've done this. Anyway, there was another rave we were doing. I think it was the 4th party, and we'd advertised this 4th party, me and Bam Bam, and on the day of this rave, we actually didn't have a venue. You know, we told everybody we did have a venue. So what the fuck are we going to do? We haven't got a venue. So me and Bam are driving around in his car and that.
Last minute
looking for a venue. Anyway, we clocked this warehouse at the, where was it, Roar? The
Newridge
Industrial Estate. We're driving past, clocked this warehouse. The back door was open on the warehouse. We've gone in. It's an empty shell of a warehouse. It's perfect. So anyway, we got in. We changed the locks on the warehouse. We got a bent contract made out that we'd been rented that warehouse off the owners of the warehouse. We had a front man called Simon Rain who run the Gatecrasher brand. He wasn't doing that then, but he was our front man.
Way before the Gatecrasher times.
Way before, I think we had DJ Sasha then. Yeah. I think we had Man Paris DJ.
I think Jeff started out as a DJ.
Jeff was one of the first DJs.
He still spins a bit now as well.
He still, he was. Jeff used to do them in a club in Coventry called the Shades. Was it Reflections? and then it went progress from there. I mean, Jeff, you know, was more of a DJ than an MC in
No, he
them
was,
days. Anyway, we done this party, the police turned up, Simon Rain went outside with the contract. We've been rented this venue for the night off the owners. The police said, okay, everything's cushy. They shot off. We did a great rave, you know. We even like cleaned up in the morning. We swept the warehouse up and left it as it was.
Nice and respectful.
And that was the next one we pulled off. Like, you know, then, you know, we done it and it was like, fucking hell, this is, you know.
I think what you did there with that party and the way that you approached it with going in and doing the contract, I think from that, from what I can gather, a lot of other promoters, they saw what you did and kind of followed your suit. So I think you kind of set that whole basis on that whole format as a way of getting around it legally or temporarily legally getting around it. I think that was kind of something you spawned with what you did with that party.
I mean, what it is, there's a lot. I mean, we basically like created the Midlands rave scene. We were the first people in the Midlands to start this off, and then we started doing the illegal ones, and you know, we've done a good few illegal ones, and then when the illegal ones finished, what it is, we were building up to a big one on New Year's Eve. You know, on the legal one. Anyway, on the morning of this big event, my door got knocked by the police, and they served me with a writ that if I held any parties illegal, like parties in Coventry, you would be fined £10,000. You would get 6 months in prison.
Sounds like COVID at the moment,
yeah,
mate.
Like
Do you know what I mean?
COVID,
Yeah.
like, Neville, you ain't allowed to do this. You know, don't be a naughty boy.
Otherwise, you're going to get a £10,000
Yeah, so
fine.
I thought, well, okay then. So I took the writ off, and we weren't doing the party in Coventry. We were actually doing it in Rugby. So that writ wouldn't have worked anyway against me. So we had this massive warehouse in Rugby, and it was sized for 10,000 people. So anyway, on that day on Central Television, the news, they were promoting the event for us, telling people do not turn up to this event. Which was great promotion for us. Thank you very much.
Of course.
So anyway, people were coming from all over the country.
No publicity is bad publicity.
People
as
were
we
coming
say.
from all over. We're going to have 10,000 people at this party. Anyway, the police had plotted up on every exit out of Coventry. So they wanted to know where this party was. They were watching everything. Anyway, the sound system, the people that were doing our sound system were Crusader Sounds. They were a load of black lads that had a sound system.
Reggae sound system.
Reggae sound.
Yes,
They were a good sound system. And they actually got followed. The van got clocked leaving the city of Coventry. It got followed to Rugby. And we got it all set up and that, but then the police moved in. As the people were coming, and there was a big riot and stuff like that, and the party didn't go on. There was 10,000 people coming, like, so we got raided, we got burst. I got away from it, like, I didn't get nicked, thank God, like, you know. So that was basically the end of our illegal thing, like, because what happened then was the police had enough of this, like, you know, because they couldn't cope. They said it was a cat and mouse with the police. So the top copper, I can't remember his name, he approached Micky and said, look, this is unsafe, you're doing it in unsafe venues, like, you know, we've got a venue here. It was at the Sky Blue Connection, where Coventry City trained.
That's Coventry City's.
And they said, look, you can have this, and it's legal, but you have to make it into a private members club.
Right.
So everybody that come to our rave had to become a member. So we had a pub in Coventry called the Bantam.
Right.
Where, like, we advertised the event, but you can't just turn up at the event. Like, you have to go and join as a member.
Go with a membership
So they
card.
came to the Bantam, bought a ticket, joined their membership. We had all their names, addresses. They showed their membership card, and we let them in. We did 4 or 5 events at that. And we were the first legal.
A lot of people talk about the Sky Blue Connection. It's
Legendary.
Yeah, it's something I see and hear pop up all the time. It'll randomly come up on Facebook, and you'll just see Sky Blue Connection or on YouTube clips, and it is something that is.
Well, we had the Sky Blue Connection then, like, then we started bringing in the bigger DJs. Like, we had Frankie Bones, like, from Brooklyn, New York. Now he was a big name. He was the creator of the raves in New York back in the day. And I'll never forget, like, when he first came on to his first set, the music got brought down. He said, "Hey man, my name's Frankie Bones and I'm from Brooklyn, New York." And it's been 1 year to the date since I took my first one, if you know what I mean. And that is a legendary tape, like, you know, like Frankie Bones. And then we also had Derek May on there as well. That's one of the most legendary tapes from this scene, and it's still out there now, like, you know. And then we started bringing the lots of Top Buzz. We introduced
Yeah.
Top Buzz to the Midlands.
You're good friends with Jason and
Well,
Pat,
Jason
aren't you?
and Pat, I met them in London, in Rage.
Yep.
And we were down there promoting the Sky.
A bit of a story behind that as well.
Bit
isn't
of a
there?
story. What it was, a few of my mates, they wanted a little fella.
Yeah.
And I went up to this little cockney geezer, Jason, oh mate, how you doing? He's like, oh,
The bubble.
how's it
The
going?
bubble.
Like, where are you from? Like, and I said, I'm from Coventry, like, you know. And he got a couple of little biscuits off him to give to a couple of my mates. I think I might have had a little, I don't know, like, you know. He's going, fucking hell, like, we're Top Buzz, mate. They call us Top Buzz. I said,
Yeah.
oh yeah. He said, yeah, we're DJs. I said, oh, well, I'm a promoter from Coventry. And he was going, oh, fucking hell, right, you know, we'll come down and play for you. So what it was, they invited us where they were playing at the Astoria in London.
that's
So I
right,
went there for
Astoria.
a night out. We got VIP treatment of Top Buzz. Anyway, I watched this Top Buzz, 2 blacks and a bubble, the MC, the 2 DJs, and they were banging.
Bang.
So I said, listen, why don't you come down Coventry? So we put Top Buzz on our flyer for the Sky Blue Connection. Anyway, these Top Buzz, they crooned up like you know, little fella. They brought a few boys with them from London
Cockney
and all
crew.
that. Cockney crew
Yeah.
come down. Anyway, they got up. Anyway, they went down an absolute stall. Like, anyway, everybody was saying, when are you going to get Top Buzz on again? Get them back up and that. Anyway, we started having them regular. Some of their sets are iconic, like from the Sky Blue Connection, and it was just, you know, something. It was just another level. We moved up another level from doing the elite. So when we went into the legal ones, then we started to book big name DJs from, obviously, because London was happening, like with all the energy down there and biology.
Yeah,
and
that's
stuff,
right.
and
Yeah,
like,
Rain
you know,
Dance.
Rain Dance,
Sunrise.
and like we started bringing names like Groove Rider down.
Yeah.
You know, we introduced Groove Rider and Fabio to the Midlands.
That's right.
Like we got your Carl Coxes.
Your sort of side of it, you were quite on the darker side of the hardcore, weren't you?
We were
you're
underground.
Ratty,
But
ratty
we kept
tango.
saying like we're going to stay underground, you know, and you know the likes of Groove. I mean Groove Rider, they're my mates to this day. Like, you know, like I can phone him up. All right, Groove, how you doing? Jason K.
Yeah.
I mean Carl Cox, like look how big he is now. But I'll tell you a story of Carl Cox. He did me a favour years ago. I don't know if you probably weren't with Fantasia then. He came from a 15,000 Fantasia rave on New Year's Eve to a pub in Coventry called the General Wolf.
Was that from Littlecote, was it?
I don't know which one it was from. Anyway, I had a little boozer for 200 people called the General Wolf. And I had Carl Cox come and play for me with 200 mates on New Year's Eve. I think I'll give him about 500 quid.
Not many people can say
Not
that.
many
is there?
people can
Not
say
many
that.
people
That's
can
a
say
true
that.
story. You know, like, so them DJs, you know, some of them are superstars, like, you know, but
I think the majority of them are very humble though. Especially like Pat and
Listen.
Jason, good friends of mine as well.
Yeah.
I speak to them regularly. Very, very humble.
yeah.
You know, I think a lot of them. That's the great thing about the scene is a lot of the artists have remained very humble. They haven't
Listen.
got above themselves.
No. I mean, you know, I Groove Rider, I've done a 30-year celebration and that, and I phoned him up, right, Groove, it's Nev, like, you know. I said, listen, I'm doing a 30-year celebration and rave and that, like. He's gone, yes, Neville, like, I'm up for it and that, like. And he says, well, speak to my agent and that. I said, I'm looking for mates rates, you know, as you do, you know.
As we do, yeah.
So
never,
anyway,
never done that
he said,
myself,
speak
mate.
to my
yeah.
agent, tell him, like, so anyway, I phoned his agent. It weren't Groove Connect, it weren't Sarah, it was someone, a newer agent. Anyway, I said, all right, I just spoke to Groove Rider, I want to book him in that night. He said, yeah, sound and that. And he says, right, this is the price. I said, well, Groove said I can have mates rates. And he said, what do you mean, mates rates? I said, speak to Groove Rider.
Yeah.
So he's gone back to Groove Rider, and then I phoned him back up and I've got mates rates. You know, like, and Groove Rider sent me a message during this pandemic. Like, I put a picture up of me and Micky Lynas, God rest his soul, my partner,
God bless Micky.
Miss Micky a lot.
Unfortunately, I never got to meet Micky. Unfortunately, mate.
But he was a character.
Yeah,
Micky was, you know, and,
I've heard some stories.
me and Bam miss him terribly. Like, you know, it's Bam's brother and that, but he was like a brother to me also. You know, and so it. You know, we miss Micky a hell of a lot. You know, like he was a big dent.
Very gutted I never got to meet. He was one of the very few promoters that I never got to meet, and I find that quite sad.
But Micky was a legend in the game. He was eccentric, different.
Yeah, this is what I'm told. A complete character.
And it was Micky's idea to get married, like on the, you know, when we done that book of
the
love.
Book of Love.
I mean, we worked up, like you say, we done the Sky Blue Connections. And then we moved out of Sky Blue Cadets, then we went to the Eclipse.
Yeah, that's right. Which was the first legal.
That was they were legal.
Was it the first
We were
all
the
night?
first
Was it the first
legal
legal all
organisation.
night? Yeah.
We didn't the first legal parties, but then that become the first legal
all night venue.
All
yes,
night venue.
that's right.
You know what I mean?
Was.
And we started doing events in there, which were quite successful. But the owner there, Baz, God rest his soul, he's not here no more. He wouldn't let Micky and Bam into the place because there was a bit of a fallout. So I was in running the Amnesia rave while they were sitting at home. Yeah, they weren't allowed in, and I used to get the mic and say, "There's 2 people ain't allowed in here tonight." And Baz Edwards used to say, "Nev's on one upstairs." About Bam Bam and Micky not allowed in and stuff like that. You know.
Did they ever get in?
Huh?
Did they ever get in?
I don't know if they got in there. Yeah. So I mean, we did. You know, so we went from the illegals to the Sky Blue Cadets.
How long were you at the Eclipse for?
Eclipse.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah, we done the Eclipse. I mean, we were filling the place.
Yeah,
like, you know, turning people.
That was a mad venue as well, wasn't it?
It's one of the best.
Nuts venue.
One of the nuts venues. Like people came from. I mean, on a Friday night they'd have Sasha night.
That's right. The house.
Sasha built up a big thing, and then we'd do like one-off events monthly there. You know, and then the Eclipse were doing New Age events. They were doing all sorts. I mean, the Eclipse was a legendary club. It was one of the best.
It was Fantasia there as well, wasn't there?
Fantasia. There was all sorts of Jungle Fever. Yeah. You know, but that was a legendary club back in the day. You know. Yeah. So, you know, we just progressed. Like, listen, we were just a bunch of lads. Yeah. Right. Ex-football hooligans, come from a rough areas in Coventry, and we were just in the right place at the right time.
Bell Green?
Bell Green Woodend lads.
The famous Bell Green boys as well.
Yeah. So like, and it, you know, all our lads are good lads. All
Yeah.
ex-football hooligans. Yeah. You know, I had all my mates working security.
Yeah.
You know, it was my firm. Like we were like, right lads, look after the car park, look after the doors. You know. So it was.
That's the way it was back in the day. I mean, there was no door, there was no badging for the doors. It was like you say, lads like yourself that were doing a bit of football hooliganism that was out, a little bit rowdy and running the doors, but
listen,
doing
then
it
the
proper.
Football hooliganism stopped. We got to know the main boys from Leicester, the baby squad. My mate Simon Harris, he was one of their top boys, and Hursty and all that. I knew all the top boys from Birmingham, Barrington,
Bassett,
Walton, who used to run Starlight and stuff like that. We all became mates. Shelley's was a big part of like, and I was having good times up Stoke. Stoke-on-Trent was a massive part of Amnesia House. When we got invited, Micky got invited. Look, we've been offered this club, Shelley's.
Did Daz have some involvement with inviting you up there?
I think Daz and Micky. I think Daz and Micky met first.
Yeah, I think that.
And I think it was on a Sasha night.
Yeah.
That was filmed out, and Micky.
Well, that was the Friday, I think.
The Friday.
And I think Daz. From speaking to Daz, I think what Daz has said is he spoke to Micky and sort of said, look, why don't you come and do Amnesia on the Saturday night, which then elevated.
And that's how we ended up in Stoke. And so I think we advertised the first night in Stoke-on-Trent. I can't remember, I know Daz was playing, but I can't remember.
I don't think you advertised it much after that.
No,
you needed to, did you?
We never put a flyer out after that.
No.
But no one knew who was playing from week to week, unless I told them on the mic. And then Shelley.
That's if you can remember, obviously.
I can remember, yeah. And Shelley just grew.
Yeah.
You know, I used to turn up outside there at 9 o'clock at night. The queue was.
It was an institution rave, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Shelley's.
it was amazing. But the acts we put on in Shelley's we had the Carl Coxes, the Groove Riders, the Enjoys. There was one night we were doing the Academy in Manchester with the Prodigy, yeah? And then we were all on the sesh with the Prodigy in the hotel after in Manchester, and we were doing Shelley's the next night, and the Prodigy said, listen, we'll come and play for you in Shelley's tomorrow, like on the house, for nothing, as a, you know, look, we're about, we'll do it. So Shelley's Saturday night, no one knew the Prodigy was going to go on, and we had the Prodigy,
and they turned into one of the biggest. I wouldn't even describe it as a rave band because the Prodigy appealed to rockers, ravers, just your general pop crowd. It didn't matter who you were. Everybody loved the fucking Prodigy. You couldn't not love the Prodigy.
And they were like our mates as well. Do you know what I mean? Micky had a good relationship with the Prodigy. Micky did. It was more Micky died with them. But Micky got them to come from Manchester on a Friday to come to Shelley's as a little Brucey bonus the next day, and the people in Shelley's couldn't believe.
So that was a Brucey bonus and a half. That was like a
Brucey bonus.
That's a once in a millennium Brucey bonus,
that's what
mate.
I mean, you know, like so. things like that, you know. I mean, Micky had the Prodigy at the Book of Love when he got married.
Phenomenal.
You know, we had Carl Groove Rider was the best man.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. There was a few different DJs and they had different parts to play, weren't they?
I'll never forget it. It was one of the best events in the history of the rave scene. I don't care what anybody says. No one's done a wedding like that.
You only need to look at the video footage. I wasn't there, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I've just missed out on that one.
Yeah.
But the footage from it, just to look at
Amazing.
it, phenomenal.
Well,
Absolutely
I'm
phenomenal.
on the mic, yeah, right? And when introducing Micky, and I was like, so many years ago, Micky Lynas had a dream. He wanted to get married in front of 15,000 people. And I was like, what do you think about that then? And the crowd were going absolutely mental, yeah? And then I said, and we've got someone else here, and we've got the vicar. I think his name was Trevor. I introduced the vicar then. The vicar's come on with the Bible and all that.
Trevor,
here's the vicar. And then Groove Rider, he had Tareen, the wife.
Yeah.
He was the best man. He walked her out onto the stage, you know. And like then we done the nuptials, like do you take this like in front of like this is madness, like you know.
Whistles and
the
fucking
whole
whistles and
crowd,
all going on everywhere.
anyway, when they got married, yeah, and like the whole crowd, like Micky put the tune. I can't remember what the tune was now, but it was he jumped down on the front of the crowd and he's passing bottles of champagne to the crowd, and I jumped down with him, and that me and him were together, my partner and stuff like that. And it was just a moment that I'll never forget.
Yeah.
You know that like
How could you possibly forget something like that, mate?
It was just amazing, like you know, the world's first house wedding. He was actually on telly. What was that program? He was on some ITV first. You know, where people people want to get married in weird places. And Micky was on it. He said, "Well, I'm going to get married at a rave in front of 15,000 people," and it did. It happened.
So one of those where most people thought, I want to do this, I want to do that, and people were like, yeah.
It happened.
Micky said it, and he went and fucking done it.
It was amazing. Yeah, Prodigy, Carl Cox, Groove Rider, Top Buzz, Micky Fivey, all the big acts there, all the PAs there.
So for anybody that doesn't know of the Book of Love, do a little bit of research, go online, go on YouTube, Google it, look at some of the videos, look at the flyer, look at the lineup, because honestly, it was something else. Go on, research it, have a little look. This show's called The History of Hardcore because we want you to know the history, the facts behind it, how the scene that you have now is even still fucking here, because I can tell you now, without promoters like Nev and many others and many other artists, there would be fuck all there today. So
I mean, like you say, some of them artists, like, they were starting at the beginning, and the big artists.
Yeah, they weren't big names to start with, were they? They all
but we
grew with it.
We booked a lot of them all the time, and they become big. Like, they're from London. No one really knew a lot about them from London. But we brought them to the Midlands.
There was quite a big separation in sort of northern Midlands and southern scene, but you also brought quite a lot down. Like Stu Allen, you were bringing down from the north, and Nipper, you were bringing from the north.
Stu Allen, Piccadilly Radio. Was it 101?
Piccadilly 103. Piccadilly 103.
Stu was a big thing up there, and about
Sunday night it was the hardcore hour, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah. But also, like, what it is, the rave scene, what it is, it was unity. It brought people together. The music.
That's what it was about.
There was no violence there was no violence. Everybody was happy. There was no, vibes where, you're from another area. There was none of that. You
wanted to not just know where somebody was from, you didn't care where they were from, you wanted to know because it was a way of breaking a conversation.
You got to know people from other cities and this and that, and you actually became friends with them people. I mean, some of these people, they were just ravers, but they used to come to me and like, Neville, thanks for everything, thanks for the best times of my life, which was good. It brought people together, the music, and hopefully after this COVID, it can bring people together again. So I think that's what people need. They want to dance and let themselves go. Stuff like that, So
it's the same now, I think, from the connections like yourself, I've made, ravers out there have made.
Yeah.
There's still, I think most ravers who were involved in the scene for a period of time,
Yeah.
they still can go to nearly every city in the country, and,
Yeah.
and it's like there's somebody there we can go and call it, hey, and you go and have a catch up.
I mean,
25, 30 years later.
30 years later, the scene's still there. It's a bit different now. There's a new generation, obviously. New
It's
generation.
different, certainly
I mean, my
different.
kids say, "Dad, leave it now." I said, "No, it's only just beginning. I'll do the rest." No, Dad, just leave it. I
That's
said,
in the
"No,
blood,
no,
mate.
no,
That's in
no.
the blood."
Why should I leave it? Because my kids came to my 30-year celebration of rave, yeah. And you know what?
What did
they
they
had
think?
they had one of the best
Best
nights
nights
of their
ever.
lives.
Yeah, I bet they did.
So, but my daughter Demi, she's like saying, "Dad, you know, you need to do some of the new stuff for the new generation." And I'm thinking, yeah, because I do listen to them. Like at the end of the day, the old school's still the big thing, like but you maybe have to move with the times a little bit, because there's a new generation. If I'm going to continue in promoting,
Yeah.
I do want to do a little bit of the new. If I was going to do an event,
I think you have
Do
to.
you know what
Now.
I mean?
You've got to encompass.
you've
You're not
got to
going to
go
get a
with
big
the
enough.
times.
If you're doing a larger event, you're not going to get a big enough
No.
crowd from the old generation.
You're not.
You've got to try and get some sort of
Happy medium.
some sort of happy medium.
Maybe put us old ones in the back room now.
Yeah,
And put something on for
yeah.
the new
Finish
generation.
it at about 12:30. Cinema frames on the way
Yeah,
in.
we'll get home back to the baby
Yes,
sitters.
mate. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the scene, like the drum and bass scene, it's massive.
Yeah,
You know,
totally.
I mean,
The jungle again sort of kicked. It's slightly different now.
Yeah.
The new jungle, but
Yeah.
jungle's kicked off the last 4 or
kicking off
5 years
again.
ago.
I mean, Amnesia House did get into the jungle a little bit.
I say it was always the darker, hardcore.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, it got a little bit moody at times.
Yeah.
Sometimes, a few bad boys turning
Yeah.
up, sort of taxing people.
We had that pretty much across the country.
Sometimes, I mean, it was a good scene, but then there was a bad element with it
Yeah.
at times as well, because a few bad boys from other cities started, that's when it changed a little bit
Yeah.
in the scene. Like, when you got into the 93, 94, it started changing a little bit.
It split a lot, didn't it? From sort of
Yeah, it went from
93,
different-
you
You
went
had
from
your
your
sashes and all that going
Yes.
that way, and then like,
your jungle,
Yeah.
drum and bass, your happy hardcore sort of
Yeah.
fracture off, then your techno.
yeah, it weren't all together
Yes.
as one. It started
It
to
segmented,
split.
didn't it? Fraction.
Started to split a lot.
And that I think with that fraction the crowd and sort of
Yeah.
decimated the crowds down
Yeah.
into smaller
It
parties.
did, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Bit weird how it went. That sort of time.
I mean,
sort of went.
the thing was, I mean, like, got out of it, it took over my life, this rave scene.
Mate, it
You
does.
know,
It does.
I had a record shop banging tunes with Luke. We
Yeah.
we had banging tunes label. We had this. I was involved fully in it. Like, I mean,
When you're in it, you can't. It's
it's hard
24
to get
hours.
out.
You can't get it out of you. You're
But-
waking up in the middle of the night
But then
with ideas popping in your head. You're getting
I
up
mean-
in the morning trying to put them into
I
action.
mean, Amnesia sort of got put to bed a little bit for a good few years, and then I started up a thing called New Generation, UK Promotion, started doing things like that. I started a night called Kushti, like it was a
remember
house music night, mixing the old with the new, with my brother Fred and Luke, DJ Luke. So we were still doing other things and stuff, and I think, my kids say, "Oh, leave it now, Dad," but I think with my knowledge, I could still put an event on which incorporate my daughter, who's quite into the dance scene. I'd listen to
She's
her.
into the new sort of house stuff, is it?
Yeah,
Is that what
she's into.
into?
Yeah, she's saying, "Dad." She told me a few things. "Dad, you need to do. Help me." I'd help her do it.
Yeah.
I'll be behind her because she's clued up. So she said, "Dad, let's do this," and which I think I might look at doing something for the new generation. Do you know what I mean?
Why not?
Yeah, and maybe the thing is, I might do another Amnesia House thing, like everyone. I created the 30-year celebration of rave, and it was like going back in time. The vibe, but then we also had the new generation kids. Kids were there with their mums and dads.
That's the funny thing now, isn't it? You get the kids are now old enough. They're coming out with the parents.
Kids were there with their mums and dads, and them kids said they had the best night of their lives. At an old school rave. So
It shows the music's timeless, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, like you say, when a good old school tune drops and that,
You can't not move to
kids
it.
love it as
Yeah,
well.
you can't not move to it, can
When
you?
you
It
do
makes you
dancing
move.
to that's what you didn't like
Yeah.
old school.
You can't not move to it though,
Nah,
can you?
that's
It picks
right.
you up and
Yeah.
it elevates you and moves you. So.
Yeah.
So, can you tell us a little bit about more about your resident DJs? Because you had like Luke, Neil Tricks,
Yeah.
Dobbo. Carl Williams,
Yeah.
Distortion Crew, Toz and the rest of them.
Well, yeah, like you say, like Doc Scott, for instance. Yeah,
Doc
he
Scott,
was a young
I've
lad.
not mentioned Doc.
Legend,
Still is huge.
I mean, during this pandemic, he's done a lot of live streams. He's
Yeah.
made a lot of money for charity. Like, you know, obviously he struggled through this. He's still got his bills to pay and stuff like that. But he was always donating like, through his live streams to charities, people with mental health, stuff like that. I mean, Doc Scott was a young lad, and we gave him the opportunity to play at Amnesia House, and you know, he just, you know, he went through the different. I think what changed his when he really got into, when he heard the Derek May sets, he's always spoke about that. And Scott, look at him now, he's an international drum and bass DJ,
Is he
producer.
still on Metalheads? Is he still on Metalheads?
Yeah, he's involved with all them and Goldie, and he's
That's
done
right.
I think he's just done a podcast with Goldie and that. And then obviously Neil Tricks, like he was part of the Banging Tunes.
Yeah, that's
label.
right.
Him and Luke, yeah. Neil was like making the music through
Mm-hmm.
the Banging Tunes label, and him and Luke were sorting that out. And Neil's a great like producer of music as well as a great DJ. Carl Williams has always been our resident.
I've got one little story about Carl.
Yeah.
I booked him to play. Well, we booked him to play at one of our Illusion events. This is
Okay.
at Keele University back in, I think it was 2001.
Yeah.
We booked him for the Shelley's reunion room,
Right.
and he'd come on, and I think he'd met Gary on the way up there.
Okay,
if you know what I
yeah.
mean.
Carl.
And he got on the he got on the decks. And Carl's up there and he's queued his records up, playing in. He's 5 minutes into the set, got his headphones on, bang, switched it over. Everyone stood there in the club like looking at him, and he's still playing away.
Yeah.
Headphones on. He'd cut the record off. There's no music playing. He stood there bopping away with his headphones on, with
Yeah.
one of the decks completely cut off. Everyone was
Jeez.
like, "What the fuck's going on?" Eventually,
Yeah.
he sort of popped one earphone off, and he was like,
Oh.
what?"
Yeah, Carl's been our resident since day dot. I mean, and he plays great dance music.
He does,
Carl. I
mate,
mean,
yeah, he's
all the
a
women
fantastic
love his
DJ.
music. All the music, the women love his music. Plays good dance.
Quite
stuff.
soulful as well,
yeah,
wasn't he? Yeah.
He's a very good DJ. Obviously, Distortion have been like with
Yeah.
us, like Toz
Toz,
and Rob.
Toz's a lovely guy as well.
Toz
Speak
is,
to Toz
Toz
and
is
Rob.
our main designer of our flyers and
Yeah.
our t-shirts. He's done a lot of work for Amnesia. Has maximum respect to them lads. You know,
Lovely guys as well.
Yeah,
A lot
I mean,
of time for them.
Dobbo was one of our first early DJs, and that sort of Dobbo dropped out of it. Like, I think
Never met Dobbo, to be
Yeah,
honest
Dobbo
with you.
went off to India, and but Dobbo was one of the first original
Yeah, he was,
Amnesia
yeah.
House DJs. Very good DJ back in the day, you know. So all them lads, you know,
Yeah.
we've all got
I'd say it's,
lifetime friends, you know.
It's great talking about the big names, but I think
Yeah,
it's
you
important we
know.
talk about those foundation
That's
DJs
right.
as well.
I mean, the amount of DJs, you know, obviously, like, you know, the amount of people that want to please. I mean, don't forget, when we used to do the Eclipse, we'd have the main DJs upstairs, but we'd
Yeah.
have the middle floor, and we'd always give them up and coming DJs a
Yeah.
chance. You know, they just wanted to play for nothing.
Yeah.
Please let me play, and we would let people play. You know, like, you know, you can get on and play and stuff. DJ Dean from Coventry does a few live streams now. Dean, he played for Banging Tunes, he played for Amnesia. You know, we give them all a chance. You know, because everybody wants to try and like get into the scene, sort of thing.
Course,
So
course,
we looked
course,
after
course.
them people.
Let's have a break.
Let's have a
mate.
break.
Let's have a Kit Kat.
When-
Let's have a Kit Kat.
One eternity later.
Right, okay. Back in the room after a little Domino's break. Thought we needed to refuel ourselves before we carried on, didn't we?
We
Nev?
sure did.
Yeah?
Alex.
We only had one small slice each,
That's it.
honestly. Right, okay. Gonna crack on with it. A couple more questions for you, pal.
Yeah.
Now, Loud and Nasty is your MC name.
Yeah.
Okay. What made you become an MC?
Well, nothing made me become an MC. At some of the events, I just used to grab the mic and that, and at the Sky Blue Connection, in fact, I grabbed the mic because the exit doors were open. This is on
Yep.
one of the tapes, it's an iconic tape. I think it might have been on the Doc Scott tape, and I was on the mic saying, "Shut them fucking exit doors," like, and stuff like that to all the security.
Yeah.
And then I just had a little like, "Oh, make some fucking noise in the
Yeah.
place." And that's sort of how it happened. I didn't really mean to become an MC.
So it's
like,
kind of an accidental.
accidental thing,
occurrence.
like, yeah. And the name Loud and Nasty come out. It was my mate Eddie Hockey, and I said, like, you know, well, you need a name there if you're going to be an MC. I said, what's it called? He said, call yourself Loud and Nasty.
Because you're loud and nasty.
I was loud, I was nasty, but I weren't really nasty. But like, yeah, so that's how it happened.
Kind of makes sense.
That's how it happened. My kids like embarrassed like when I get on. You know, I got on the mic at the 30 year, like, and saying, Dad, come on, mate. Off the stage, like, you know,
it's in your
they're getting a
blood,
little bit
mate.
embarrassed. But it's one of them, it's in my DNA, you see.
Yeah, of course, mate, of course.
I mean, you know, I was on the mic, I don't profess to be a good MC, but I've done a lot more promotion on the mic for my other events.
You were more what I would call a host. You said you have
introduced the DJs.
The skill that you had,
Yeah.
that a lot of MCs had. A lot of MCs can sound amazing on a recording,
Yeah.
and they have
Their
that
rhymes
they have that
and
great
lyrics.
lyrical flow.
Yeah.
But some of them can't manipulate and control the crowd.
Yeah.
They don't know how, they can't control the crowd.
Yeah.
You had a skill where,
Yeah.
you know, okay,
Yeah.
as you say, you might not be the best sounding MC,
Yeah.
but you would get a crowd reaction. When
Yeah.
you were on that mic and you asked
Yeah.
for noise, people
Yeah,
would
make
give you
some-
noise.
yeah, that's right.
They would feed off you.
Yeah.
You had crowd
The energy,
control. You
like-
could interact with them.
Well, like you say, when a good tune dropped and that, like, and I used to go, make some fucking
Right
noise in the
time.
place and
Bring it
stuff
all
like
up.
that. And the crowd used to go crazy. All right, I used to go on a little bit sometimes, too much, but I was enjoying myself. Everybody else was enjoying themselves, you know, like, so I don't profess to be a professional MC or anything like that, because I'm not. I was never a professional MC.
But you
So-
would get a reaction from the crowd.
I got a reaction from the crowd. You know, give us a shout out to the Liverpool posse, Manchester. Have we got Stoke-on-Trent in the house?
We got Manchester in the house! Right now, on the Water Twos, we have Manchester's #1 DJ, DJ Stu Allen! Make some noise!
Talking of posses, we was having a discussion the other week,
Yeah.
weren't we? We were talking
Yeah.
about a few of the different posses that you get in clubs. You have, like, you know,
Yeah.
at Kinetic, you had like
Yeah.
the flashing posse from Manchester, or
Yeah.
we were talking about a posse that you met
Yeah.
at Shelley's, weren't we?
I'll never forget this posse. I was at Shelley's Stoke-on-Trent. Came off at the DJ
Was this an
box.
amnesia night?
Amnesia house at Shelley's. So I've come out the you know, the DJ box and all that. I thought I'd go to the toilet for a piss. So anyway, I've got into the toilet. There's a load of these lads in there.
Is that one of those half-an-hour pisses that you have in a
one
club?
of those. All these lads have got the tops off. They're all sitting there. They're sitting on the trough, like, you know, buzzing. You know, all right, Nasty, how you doing? I said, all right, lads, how you doing? And they're all off their nuts. So anyway, they said, Nasty, could you do us a favour? I said, what's that, lads? Can you give the toilet posse a shout out on the mic? And I said, right. They said, yeah, we're the toilet posse. I said, what? So you spend all night in here? They says, yeah, we love it in here on Shelley's. So they're called the toilet posse. So I've gone back to the DJ box, true story. And a big shout going out to the toilet posse in the place. Obviously, they're all in the toilet, buzzing their tits off because I've given the toilet posse a shout out. You know, true story, the toilet posse. So big shout out to you lads if you're still sitting in the toilets.
And if you're still out, if you need the toilet posse watching this, man, pick
I'll do
yourself
another
up.
event. I'll put you on the VIP list in the toilet.
In the toilets?
Not a problem.
Yeah, we can supply you with some spray and some
Yeah.
other bits these days. There's a
Salt,
bit of
man.
work
We'll have a bit of
involved.
aftershave in that one. No, obviously you've seen a few crazy people at these dudes with
Yeah.
dummies and, like, you know, and flying around the place like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know, everybody's doing their own things, like, you know, people taking Vicks on their bodies and sniffing poppers. And
Yeah.
there was a couple of women snogging on, you know, in the crowd and stuff. You know, a few mad things. I think I think there might have been a naked person running through one of the raves one night or something
wasn't
like
me.
that. You know, there was a few crazy things at the raves. You know,
Yeah.
like, but you know, it was a free for all, weren't it?
Yeah, of course it was, mate.
You know,
Yeah.
look at him, mate. It's probably a buzz for people saying, "Look at that over there. It's
Yeah,
mental."
yeah.
They're all doing crazy things, like, you know. But everybody was together, all under one roof, doing their own thing and enjoying what's
Enjoying
going
themselves.
on. The atmosphere, everything, the music.
Yeah, that atmosphere to regenerate is very, very difficult.
Well, listen, the atmosphere, I used to get on the mic and say, going out to the atmosphere, that's
Yeah.
what it's all about, yeah? Because the people, yeah, the vibe, the music, everybody was together, you know, like, and that atmosphere, you could feel that. You know,
Yeah.
like
Was
you
that
know,
feeling of unity, wasn't it? It was
unity,
everybody was together.
Everybody was under
Yeah.
one roof. It was all about the music. You know, Shelley's was a great place for the atmosphere on a Saturday night. I used to walk in Shelley's at 9 o'clock. The place is packed, and the atmosphere just hit you.
I think Stoke has always, from Shelley's,
Yeah.
even after Entropy,
Yeah.
Kinetic,
Yeah.
it did always have a very special atmosphere in Stoke.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the Eclipse was good in its day and that, like, you know, for atmosphere and events and stuff like that. But Shelley's, the atmosphere was different up there. It was a different crowd. They come from Manchester, Liverpool,
Leeds,
Preston,
you name it,
Leeds.
yeah.
They come from Coventry as well,
Yeah,
Birmingham
of course,
and
yeah.
all that. The atmosphere was second to none.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
You know, I'll always remember Shelley's got a good part of my heart.
Again, I miss Shelley's. For me, it was
Yeah.
Kinetic. It was Kinetic. But,
Yeah, Kinetic. I went to them events in Kinetic as well. Like, they were amazing. Like, Stoke-on-Trent was a rave mecca, really.
Yeah, it was,
in
mate,
the
it
middle
was.
between the north and us in the Midlands, and everybody used to.
Look at it now.
Yeah.
Nothing. We got hardly any clubs left here. There's hardly any bars left. There's very, very little.
It's the same as Coventry. Coventry Ghost Town. You know, the specials.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there's going to be two main clubs in Coventry left. That's the Casbah and the new Empire. A friend of mine's opening up the new Empire. Like,
That's Phil Rooney, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Phil Rooney, a good friend of mine, and he's going to be doing live bands and stuff like that. He will do dance events in there with certain people and stuff.
Yeah.
But there ain't a lot left.
No, there's not, mate.
You know, like, which is
There's
a
not.
shame, really, for the younger the new generation.
It's hard to build a music scene without any foundations to put them in. If there's no venues, where do we go with regards to build? And that's another question I was going to ask you was where do you see the music scene evolving, or how do you see it moving forward after this COVID pandemic?
Well, I think it's going to be a bit of an explosion again.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a lot of promoters that probably haven't done anything for a while and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
going to do this. I mean, like, I think the new generation kids got, like, they want to get out.
Yeah.
So if you put the right thing on, you know, put the right thing on.
Do you think it's just going to peak for a while and then
possibly
drop back?
it'll level out again?
Yeah.
You know, but I mean, don't forget, there's a lot of artists that have been out of work for a long time.
Totally.
You know, it's affected a lot of people in
Well,
the
the whole sector shut down. It's
You know.
clubs, artists,
Yeah.
venues, festival owners. Everybody has been wiped
Ibiza,
out.
like,
Yeah.
you know, it's affected thousands
Yeah.
and thousands of people in the scene, like, you know, like, that's their income and stuff. So, but I think, like, it's going to be interesting to see what happens when you're allowed to open up again. Have you got to have a vaccine to get into a club? I'm a bit worried about that side of it.
Well, we're doing a Legends reunion, which
Yeah.
is selling very, very, very well in October. Now,
I think you've chose a good date there in October because it's giving
a
it
little bit of extra.
You haven't gone like the 26th of June.
No, that's why we've done it, mate. That's why we've done it.
Yeah.
It gives us time to assess and
Yeah.
see what's going to happen. If it can't be done freely, we'll move it to a more suitable date.
Yeah.
The way I think it will be by then, I think
hopefully everybody.
I think the vaccine will be out there. I think
Yeah.
I do think that most clubs, theatres, festivals, I think will be open and running, but I do think you will need to either have a vaccine passport, as they're going to call it, a card to show you've been, or an on-the-day COVID test to get in. And I think that will.
We might have
for
to
this
do
year, we'll
COVID
definitely
tests
be going
outside
in.
the event.
I think you can do
Get a result in half an hour.
half an hour. We'll start that about 2 o'clock, right?
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, like you said, I mean, people have been asking me, you know, are you going to do another event? Now, at the moment, not really.
Yeah.
You know, I'd
Wait-
like
wait
to
and
think.
see.
I'd like, wait and see. You know, what's the point? I mean, I was thinking about doing something similar to yourself a bit later. I spoke to Phil Rooney from the Empire and that maybe I could advertise an event, but then, you know, I've got to book DJs, and then so they're going to want deposits, and then, you know, if it don't happen, like, you know, you've got to try and get them deposits. You know, I don't know. I mean, I've been thinking about it, but as it stands at the moment, we're just going to see what happens.
So what we've done with our artists we've booked is we've paid deposits on them.
Yeah.
But I've done it under the agreement that should the
It
for any
doesn't
reason the
happen,
event doesn't
they'll
go on
give it
due to
back.
COVID, that we'll just carry it over and use it at a future date. So. You know, the artists are being great. They're working with us. So they obviously want things back up and
Of course they
running.
do,
And I think between promoters and artists, I think there's
Yeah.
got to be a little bit of leeway and give and take to make it happen again. You know,
It is, yeah, because it's going to be like starting all again.
mate, it's
For a lot of organisations, it's like, basically, it might be going back to the very beginning.
Be nice, wouldn't it?
Be nice, no.
Be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it could cause a bit of a resurgence
Could be
or
an explosion again.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I think so. I think people have realised freedom is a big thing, and that,
Yeah.
you know, you want to go out and enjoy yourself. You want to listen.
We've
to
had that freedom
music.
taken away from us for nearly a year now, mate.
Yeah.
And we've never
experienced
We
it
haven't,
like
mate.
this.
It's something that's never happened in our lifetime, and
Nah.
it may never happen in somebody else's lifetime again.
It's affected a lot of people, a lot of young people as well with
Yeah.
mental health and stuff
Yeah.
like this. They've closed the gyms, the clubs.
That obviously has
the
affected
bars.
my sector as well.
That's what I mean. Restaurants. I mean, you know, it's.
I think even the closure of clubs has affected people's mental health. Yes,
Yeah.
I now work in the gym sector and
Yeah.
fitness.
Yeah.
I own a gym,
Yeah.
which we haven't been able to use.
Yeah.
Obviously, the gym is massively important for mental health, but
Yeah.
I also feel that music and
Yeah.
for somebody who's into rave, that is their outlet,
Their outlet.
as same as it is for somebody who's into fitness is
So
the
they,
gym.
Well, they work all
So-
week hard and that, and they want to go out at the end of the week
they
and
need a
enjoy
release.
themselves. Yeah.
Whether it's getting fit, going raving, for some people going to the pub on a Friday afternoon,
Yeah.
they've lost that completely, and it has affected people. So I think mental
Yeah.
health at the moment across the
It's
board
a big thing.
is a big thing.
Yeah, it is definitely.
You know, in all sectors.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So hopefully we'll,
Yeah,
we'll all
hopefully
bounce
we'll get
back.
running again.
Yeah, mate, we will, 100%.
I'll have to pick my kids up from outside the clubs because I ain't allowed to go clubs no more. Kids
No.
told me I've got to retire.
Is that one, mate? That's not fair. That's not fair. I'm not
Okay,
having that,
no,
mate. I'm not
no.
having that. I'm not having that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. We were talking before a little story, weren't we? About you, an owner of the Eclipse Club. A little story.
Right, yeah, it was a little skirmish.
Tell us again, mate. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
a funny one. It's a good
well,
one.
it's quite, you know, it's a story from you know the rave scene. I mean, what happened was I had a shop opposite the Eclipse.
Yeah, that's right.
Called Banging
Banging
Tunes.
Tunes.
And Baz, who was one of the owners of the Eclipse, was Stuart Reed. What it was, Baz was a feared man. You know,
Bit of a naughty boy.
if you got caught dealing in his club, you were in big trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, you'd get your hand on the table like that, he'd have a hammer, you better tell me who
Yeah.
you're selling for. You know, he had
Yeah.
strong arm tactics
Yeah.
because he wanted to control, because there was a lot of drug dealers and that, yeah.
Mhm.
So I'm outside Banging Tunes, and he's come out the club, this is in the afternoon, and he said, Nev, come here. So I thought, oh, what have I fucking done wrong here, like, you know? So anyway,
1p, 2p moment,
he
mate.
says, you better tell your fucking brother and your fucking mates to stop dealing in my club. Yeah? I better tell them. So I fucking turned around, I said, you fucking tell them. I ain't telling them. Yeah? I was a cheeky little fucker.
Yeah.
I thought, I ain't being told, I don't care, I know you're a tough fucking bloke and all that. God rest your soul, Baz. You know.
No longer with
So
us.
in the end, like, I've gone back into my shop. Anyway, 10 minutes later, Baz has come running over the shop with a 9 bar, and he was going to cave me head in, and I had CS gas. So I've gone, come on then. So obviously Baz backed, I was going to spray him with this. Good job I had the CS gas.
You had the reach.
So that was that. So anyway, then there was a few phone calls going on and all that, and Baz wanted to have the one-on-one with me, a fight. He says, right, tell that little fucker we'll have a one-on-one, which at the end of the day, it's better to have a one-on-one than get your head caved in by a metal bar.
Yeah, totally, mate.
So,
So in some cases, it's the only way it's ever going to get.
yeah,
It's ever going to get ended is by
and
going
you know
and
what?
doing it.
The right way to end something is man to man. No weapons, nothing.
Not like these kids
Not
these
like,
days.
like today with these knives and stabbing and stuff like that, yeah? So there's a few of my mates like Pee Wee, Fatty Smith, a few, only about 7 of us, and a few. I've got it. So anyway, I wanted to fight him up in the park so I could hit and run because I thought he was going to bite me fucking ears off and everything. So anyway, he didn't want to go to a park. He said, I'll tell you what, I'll fight you in the Eclipse on the main dance arena, the rave club, yeah? It was like going into the Gladiators arena, David and Goliath. Here's this skinny little fucker about 10.5, 11 stone against a 16.5, 17 stone big fella.
Big youth.
So anyway, we've got in. I've got searched for any weapons and all that. He got searched. Everyone was up on the balcony, just me and him. That was it. And there was a referee as well. Bit like a Travellers sort of setup, you know. So anyway, here we are. I'm a bit of an ex-boxer. I had a good left jab. and I started hitting him a few times, going, good shot, and it weren't really affecting him. big lump like yourself, like, you know. So anyway, we had it for about 10 minutes. I was winning on points, you know. He couldn't get near me. I was a bit fast and that, you know, bang, bang, bang. Anyway, in the end, we got into a bit of a clinch, yeah. So anyway, he got hold of me, you know. He got hold of me in the end. Anyway, he's got me on the floor and he's gone bang like that. I didn't have the strength to get him off. So he won the fight because I said I've had enough. And I'm glad a ref was there really, because he probably could have took the...
Could have carried on going, there would have been a bit more damage.
You know, he won the fight, but on points, and it went to a points decision. I might have, like, you know. Anyway, respect was gained. Yeah. Because he said to me, see you little fucker, fair play to you. You stood up to me. You come into the fucking club and fought me man to man. We shook hands like the way it should be done, and that was it. And he respected me for that, and I respected him for it as well. You know, like, and that was the end of that.
And you guys was all right from there on in?
The fine. I seen him a few years later in a boxing show. We were in the toilet. He said, "Nev, do you want the return?" I said, "Baz, I'll put a bit of weight on now." But you know, no, I respected the guy. Yeah, he was a feared man. He had to run a club. Yeah. And there's a lot of dealers in that club, so... It
was a bit different back in the day, wasn't it?
He couldn't let it have a free-for-all.
It's a bit different back then, wasn't it?
And he tried to... Yeah, because, like, if you got caught in there, you weren't getting handed over to the police.
No, you were out the back or in the back room getting hurried in.
Trouble.
Yes.
Big trouble.
Yeah.
And he was a man to be feared. And I respect Baz, God rest his soul. I know his family and his grandkids and stuff like that. And the good thing is, like, it don't happen this day and age. You have a fallout with someone now, they come back with a knife. We
were talking about this earlier, weren't we, mate?
In my day, it was like, right, you've got a problem with me, let's go out into the car park, let's have a punch, let's shake hands and buy a pint after. That's the way it should be now, but it's not.
No,
you know, it's a shame. Yeah, so that was a good story from having the fight in the main dance arena in the Eclipse.
There's not many people that can say a one-on-one in an empty fucking venue.
Empty venue, few lads up on the... I don't think we had videos in them days. It would have been great. It would have been a great video.
I don't think we didn't have screens on mobile phones at that age, I don't think, mate.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a moment.
Good.
Yeah.
Definitely an interesting one, that, mate. Yeah, Coventry had a reputation for a lot of tough characters. And then we did talk about Jeff Thompson before.
Yeah.
You touched on he wrote his back, wrote his book, Watch My Back.
Yeah. I was mentioned in that. Jeff done security for me at the event I mentioned at Fenny Drayton in the mansion.
That's right.
And about the two police officers, and Jeff mentioned this. And these two police officers were very scared, like we wouldn't let them leave because we thought they were going to tip off. They were just on a night out. They were on a night out too. And fair play to Jeff, like the way he wrote it was true. And in the end, Jeff got them out of there. Like I got them a taxi and stuff like that. You know, like it's mentioned in his book, Watch My Back. If anybody wants to get that book, it's a really good book about an insight into Coventry, about the violence before the rave scene started and the clubs and the pubs. And Jeff was a hard man. You know, and he dealt with a lot of
I told he was pretty fair guy.
Fair guy, but...
What was he like as a person?
Listen, a gentleman.
Yeah?
Jeff was a gentleman, but if you crossed him, you know...
You knew it.
He'd turn up outside your work on his own saying, you were a tough guy with all your gang, yeah?
Yeah.
Let's see how tough you are now on your own.
Yeah.
And he dealt with a few characters in Coventry like that, and...
I also heard that he never lost a bar fight, or he never. Is that right as well?
Well, there's not many Jeff had lost because he was a tough martial arts expert.
That's right, he was. Yeah.
He knew how to deal with situations. I mean, he's done seminars and everything all around the world and stuff like that. And I've watched a lot of his videos. How, you know, if there's 3 or 4 people in front of you, how to deal with it. And he's like,
I've watched a couple of those. I've watched a couple of those myself.
I only bumped into Jeff the other day. You know, like. You know,
not too hard, I hope.
No, we were talking about a couple of it. I said I've just got. So someone sent me Watch My Back. I've read the book and that, and then I wanted it as a collector's item, and I actually got it off someone, and I bumped into him a few days after getting the book. I said, "Jeff,
get it signed."
It's signed already.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
There was a film I believe he helped direct. It was called Clubbed as well. Another one, something you might want to watch. I don't know how true to life the story was with it, but
It was probably
very good.
connected to a bit of his life.
Yeah, I think that's what it
went
was.
on in the Coventry
Definitely.
era, like in the pubs and clubs and
And
stuff
it's
like
a decent watch. So again,
Yeah.
as well as the book,
Yeah.
you know, the film clubs. If you want to watch that as well, it's, in my
Yeah.
opinion,
Yeah.
worth a watch.
I mean,
it's a
he's
decent
wrote
film.
a load of other stuff and that as well, books and stuff like that. I think he's been helping a film with Orlando Bloom and that at the
Right.
moment. He's done. I mean, Jeff changed his life around from being that doorman and that hard man, and he walked away from that life.
Yeah.
And he completely changed his life, and now he's a great author, filmmaker, everything. Like.
Brilliant
So
to see
I've got
people
maximum
do that,
respect
isn't
for
it?
Jeff. He used to come and see me every week. I used to have a few burger wagons. Jeff used to always come and see me for a cup of tea every week when I had the burger
Nice.
wagons.
Nice.
A chat and a chinwig. How you doing, Nev? And he's a good man.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Right, we've got a few questions that have been sent in from people to ask. So look what we've got here. One from Steve Wagg. Nev, where was your favourite place to MC other than Amnesia House?
I didn't really MC anywhere else. I don't think I want to. I'll tell you what. In fact, I got booked to MC for Fantasia. I think it was at Bournemouth.
Yeah, that Matcham's Park, summertime.
Yeah, it was summer anyway. It was with DJ Luke, and I think that's so yeah, Fantasia. I didn't really normally MC anywhere
Yeah.
else. I done it. They asked me to come because I was connected with Fantasia people and the security and stuff. I knew them, and so I done it for Luke at Fantasia event back in the day.
Did you enjoy that?
I did enjoy it. I introduced Luke and stuff like that, and I think there was 25,000
Yeah, it was
people
a
there.
big party, mate.
Big party.
And
Yeah.
I know from that there's word put out from the local authorities that was basically told after the party, under no circumstances was anybody to go into Bournemouth town centre or to the beach.
Yeah,
So what
but
did
I don't think
25,000
that
people
worked
do?
out. I don't think that
No,
worked out
I think
very
20,000 and
well.
ended up
Yeah,
on Bournemouth Beach.
So that really, I didn't really MC for anybody else, really. You know, like, I wasn't. If anyone
No.
said never, no.
No.
You know, like my events, at least I can get on them and do what I want. Like, you know, yeah.
Will Amnesia House be returning after the pandemic?
Well, we haven't. We'd like to think we might be doing a one-off event.
Kind of discussed this earlier, haven't we,
Yeah,
as well?
you know, I want to speak with Bam. You know, like, you know, we'll have a chat. Like, shall we? Shan't we?
So you'll say yeah, he'll say no. You'll
Well,
say
we don't
yeah.
know. I mean, like, you know, because things have changed quite a lot. You know, and you know, my daughter's telling me like we've got to do some of the new stuff, like for the new generation. You know, but I'm not saying no. You know, so there's a possibility. But
it'd be nice to see, mate. To be honest with you.
At the end of the day, we're a legendary brand in the rave scene. Like, you know.
Not half.
I mean, don't get me wrong, when we done the 30 year, we had a lot of new generation kids that come. Well, my kids were there, and Bam's kids were there, and
a lot of the old ravers bringing their kids with them.
And them young
Maybe
kids,
their grandkids before
and
long.
them young kids said that was one of the best nights they ever had. So yeah, we'll probably be looking at doing something, but not regular, a one-off here
And
and
no
there.
rush, no rush in which to do it.
No rush.
When you're ready.
When we're ready, if we feel like
Yeah.
it, we'll give it another smash.
I think it's the same with us doing the party coming up.
Yeah.
I'd said I would never do another party.
Yeah.
But suddenly, with the way things have been, it felt right to do it. Would that be the same with you?
Yeah.
Would it be something you'd have to feel that
Yeah,
you were
right.
ready and passionate
I mean,
to do it?
I mean, since this pandemic, we've had loads of people saying, "Oh, is Amnesia going to do this?" You know, I look at a lot of things online and stuff like that. It's still in me, in the blood. You know, so I enjoy promoting and I enjoy getting people together.
The whole buzz of putting
And
it together.
because of this pandemic, I would like to bring people together again as one. Like, so.
It would be nice to see, mate.
Not
It
too
really
early,
would.
not on the 26th of June, because the England game's on, isn't it? I'll watch that first. I might do it a few months
Priorities,
later.
mate. Yeah.
So who knows?
Prioritise, my friend.
Yeah.
Right, next question from Wayne Sherry. I know the answer to this one because again we've discussed this one earlier. Who is your favourite DJ?
Favourite DJ? Well, Groove Rider was my favourite
Groove.
DJ. Yeah, he's been Amnesia House's #1 DJ. Obviously a lot of Top Buzz, you know. But we always has Groove Rider.
Good friend of yours, and you've done a lot
Good
together,
friend
haven't
of
you?
mine, you know, I can phone Groove up and have a chat with him. He sent me a message on Instagram not long back when I had a photo up of me and Micky Lynas, and he said, "You two people helped change, you know, my career." And you know, we brought Groove to the Midlands, and we given so many bookings. And he's always been Amnesia Houses. We always said Amnesia Houses.
Your main DJ.
Yeah, and then you've got Top Buzz,
Yeah.
and the Dutch Scots. You know, I mean, there's a lot of good things. Fabio, another one.
Yeah.
Jumping Jack Frost. You know,
I
fantasy.
remember back on,
Ray
was it the Buckle of Fly that had like Top Buzz, the People's Champions,
Yeah,
and
all
yeah,
stuff like
Fabio's, the ladies' choice.
That's it. All stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was fucking brilliant, absolute genius.
Yeah, so yeah, Groove Rider was the Amnesia House #1 DJ, but then there's a lot of DJs that, you know, they've got a big place in Amnesia House's hearts, you know what I mean? But they're still my friends, Jumping Jack Frost, stuff like that.
Yeah, nice, top bloke,
I'm in his book, you give me a mention.
Big Bad and Heavy.
Big Bad and Heavy, I'm in his book.
Another good book, by the way, guys.
Yeah,
Frost's
Big Bad
book,
and Heavy.
Big Bad and Heavy.
You know, Mickey Fing sounds, you know, fantasy, Ray King.
Steve's a lovely guy. He's
Yeah,
fancy.
you know, so, I mean,
Ray.
Steve was out in Fantasia, I mean, Ibiza with us.
Yeah.
Like 20 years ago, I was
He's a
doing
character,
an event
isn't he?
out there in Eden. He came out and he's always spoke about that and stuff.
Used to love his sets with Gemini as well.
Yeah,
Fantasy and
yeah.
Gemini when they were performing
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, I mean, we've had all the names. Rat Pack, you know.
Yeah,
they're
as
good
we
friends
like.
of mine.
Yeah, same here.
You know.
I still speak regularly with
Yeah,
Mark.
Mark and Everson.
Yeah.
You know, good people.
Very good
So,
people,
yeah.
mate. Very good people. I say Mark was one of the few. But my dad passed away last year. Mark was one of the few people because I've been away from the rave scene for quite a while.
Yeah.
To get in touch and just
Yeah,
and he
it's
sent
nice,
me,
isn't it?
He sent me a message. It was like a paragraph, but a really
Yeah.
nice, deep,
Yeah.
meaningful message, and just to get that, you
It's
know what I
nice
mean?
to
from
know
Mark.
that,
Yeah,
you know,
you still thought
Listen,
about.
like how I look at it, right, we're promoters, yeah.
Yep.
Because you work with these DJs for all these years, they're not just like DJs to me, they're like friends.
Yes, yeah.
You know, like personal, like Jason K and Pat, Mad P, and you know, if I bump into these people,
Yeah.
they've got time for me.
Yeah, of course,
you know,
mate, of
like,
course.
do you know what I mean? If I bumped into Groove Right, I went to when Groove Right and Fabio had done their 25-year thing in London, celebrating 25 years of drum and bass. I went down there with the camera crew, and we were doing interviews, and they gave me time, even during their event, I was doing an interview with Fabio and Groove Rider, with Fantasy, with Reiki, and it was their event, and they still gave me
Still gave it time.
which was nice.
So that's respectful, that is,
Respectful,
mate.
yeah. You know, we're talking 30 years I've been involved in this scene. I'm still here to tell the tale.
So, you're looking very well, mate. To
Thank
be
you
honest
very
with
much.
you.
You're not looking too bad yourself.
Thank you very much.
right?
You're keeping fit as well, still, aren't you?
I still do a
you're
bit
still
of training. So I've always trained, kept myself quite fit. You know, you've got to. It's good for up here as well.
Yes, definitely, mate. Physical and mental health go hand
There's a
in
lot
hand.
of people that isn't here no more. You know, that we've lost. I mean,
There's a lot,
Mickey,
mate.
I lost a very close friend. He's my right hand man, my flyer man, little Floss Jones.
Yeah.
And every time I do an event, he was my right hand
The
man, me
wingman.
and him, and I'm driving the car, putting posters up. He was a lovely lad, and obviously sadly passed away, and I miss him. You know, if I ever had to do another event again, I'd miss him so much.
Yeah.
Because he was a big part of it. You know,
Of course.
and like there's Micky Lynas, there's Shorty, there's a lot
of people now, mate. Yeah, that aren't there
I'm
anymore.
blessed to still be here. I'm blessed I've still
Yeah.
got my health. You know, I'm blessed to be here telling this story, to be honest.
It's funny because I say not funny. It's strange. Somebody put a picture up the other day. I think it was Danny from Fibre Optic.
Yeah.
Mickey.
Seen that. Murray.
Murray,
yeah.
Gideon.
Yeah, I did see
I think
that.
there were 6 people in the picture, and I think 4
Yeah.
of them are no longer with us. And it
Yeah.
was just to look at that
Wow.
picture. It was
Yeah.
kind of emotional. Like, fucking hell! I mean,
Yeah,
you know, these are like legendary people.
promoter,
You know.
massive part of the scene, like, you know.
Yeah, totally.
Makes you realise how lucky you are.
To still
You
be
know.
here and have what we got.
That's right. Yeah.
But I count our blessings some days, mate. I say we're
Yes.
not getting any younger,
That's
especially yourself, like, you know.
Well, I've got 8 grandchildren. I've got 5 children, 8 grandchildren.
I was going to say, tell us a bit
Blessed.
more about the family.
They're all healthy. My grandchildren are amazing. I've got another grandchild on the way in March. So, you know, Grandad, I can tell them all my stories, all the grandkids. Come round, Grandad, to listen to my... So, yeah,
You've
it's all
got plenty
good.
to tell them, mate. Let's
Yeah,
put it
it's
that
all-
way.
It's all good.
So you enjoying life,
Enjoying life, yeah.
work-wise, at the moment?
Working hard, yeah, doing the insulation business and stuff like that.
Not going well?
Going all right. I mean, we've had to stop and start
Yeah.
with the pandemic and stuff like that, but we'll keep going.
Everyone's been the same
Keep
through it,
going.
stopping and start.
I mean, I know a lot of people that have lost their jobs and they're struggling for, you know, you just got to try and keep going. And hopefully things are going to change again for
Yeah,
everybody.
they will.
Yeah.
We've just got to keep pushing, mate. That's
You've got to
as
keep
simple
going.
as that.
That's it.
One from Darren Torchman. How did us two meet?
We've just been talking about that.
Yeah,
haven't we?
we've been in contact for quite a long time.
Yeah.
But I think the first time we're trying to figure it out, the first time we actually met was I think it was at a Pandemonium in Birmingham.
Yeah.
Which probably would have been.
I think it was.
Which would have been. I'm trying to even think when that might have been. 2005, something like that.
I wouldn't know, Alex. You know what I mean? Because it's that many years, like.
But no, we haven't known each other since the early days.
No.
But we've clicked pretty well.
Clicked, yeah, we have clicked well. Yeah.
It's like a granddad sort of grandson relationship.
The unit MC, the smaller MC. Respect.
Total, mate. Always.
Yes. Thank you for having me today.
Mate, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Yeah.
I say, I imagine we could probably keep going for hours and hours, but what I don't want to do is I don't want to leave these podcasts where they drag out and go on, and people end up sitting and watching
bored.
it. Yeah,
you don't want that. Like, at the end of the day, I'd like to be able to tell a story. Hopefully that people have liked it.
I'm sure people will well enjoy it, mate.
And
just if Nev's been a bit like
Anthony's
pants, and I'm the same.
I'm a boxer and that. Like,
I've been like probably making you seasick at the same time. So
we should have put a punch bag in here or something like that.
we do a part 2. We'll get a punch bag in, and we can do like a fitness session as well.
But listen, thanks to the lads as well for
lost the plot. Thank you very much for the studio.
And
the
agent Rory.
Special Agent Rory.
He's done a great job. He's on
10%, mate.
He's on the Stella.
He was on 10%, but he had more than 10% of the pizza. I can tell you that.
Yeah, very much.
Top one. Right, guys, that's History of Hardcore Podcast Part 1. We'll be back next weekend. I'll be with Jeff MC Man Paris. Legendary Jeff MC Man Paris. The following weekend, I'll be with Stoke's very own DJ Daz Willett. Hope you enjoy the podcast. We're just going to keep, it's a new thing. It's new to me. Hopefully we can evolve, push it, expand it, and keep it moving. So peace, love, unity. Thank you very much, guys. Out.
Excellent.
We're still fucking here, 25 years fucking later.
You've lost the fucking plot.
Yes, History of Hardcore Crew. I know I said a few years ago I was going to take my time out, so I was going to retire from promoting and MCing. During the lockdown, it's given me a little bit of time to sit back, reflect, and the whole not going out thing has given me the urge to put another party on. So I thought, fuck it. I had a little bit of a vision for a lineup. It's a unique lineup, one I think reflects truly on what we're trying to do, which is it's Legends of the Leisure Bowl, which is the Club Kinetic reunion. Club Kinetic was a club that basically kicked off my career as an MC, raver, and a promoter, a place that I hold very dear to my heart. Now, I had a little bit of a vision, and the lineup popped into my head, and I thought, do you know what? I thought, fuck it, we've got to do this. Put one more party on. The time is right because I felt it was right for myself. The passion came back, and I know that if I do a party and my heart isn't in it, it isn't going to be the best party. But I also know that when the passion is in my heart, the parties that me and Stacey put on, as you're aware, are pretty much unbeatable. We don't mess about with lineups, we don't fuck about with production. We simply put together the best possible package for the people, and that's what we've done. So lineup-wise, the division came into my head. We got Slipmat, with MCs Connie and Ransky. We've got Marky G, Techno God, with the man called MC Nats, who is known as a godfather, who was a resident up at the Doncaster Warehouse, another venue I used to recently frequent when I was younger. A good friend of mine, DJ Seduction, who I've been booking for way over 20 years, alongside my good friend MC Matrix, back out of retirement. Kinetic Crew, you'll remember Matrix, big MC from Hardcore Heaven, a lot of big events from back in the day. We've got the Club Kinetic resident Demand, with MC Connie, the Club Kinetic resident, the man that rocks on the right line every time. One of the best MCs out there, talks no shit, keeps it simple, keeps it straight, and one we know as the voice of Club Kinetic. Myself, out of retirement, first time in 3 years, 3.5, maybe 4 years, alongside my old partner for old school sets, the man like DJ Psy. Okay, we're going to take you back on an old school happy hardcore trip, maybe even drop a little bit of jungle in there to fuck things up a little bit. And then we have Transformers, another good friend of mine, David Beatty. They're going to be playing a warm-up set of old school breaks, which is kind of unique and different, something that we've never done before in the main room at Legends. I'd always like to think that we're a little bit groundbreaking and throw things in that do change things up and make it a little bit different. We got LSD, the captain, my personal favourite, I think, from over the years, another good friend of mine, a man that's played for me since, I think, 1999, from the Illusion days. Big DJ, Roy, big DJ. And then we've got Room 2, which is Illusion, which was our old brand, which is going to be a little bit more on the older tip from 90 to 93, whereas the main room's going to be 93 to 96, more happy hardcore, breakbeat and techno. We've got my mate Mark XTC, Grandad, in there, alongside MC Ransky, another good pal of mine, doing a classic jungle set. Then we've got my original residents from Illusion, Daz Willett, Daz, the homeboy Willett, alongside the bad man DJ Foxy. They've not played together for quite a long time, veterans of the scene from Illusion. And the other Illusion residents, DJ Delight and Two Step. Both excellent DJs, also known as the Unsung Heroes. Andy Techno, my old mugger, alongside my good friend DS, Dave Shimin from North Wales, representing. Then we got Sten, one of the original Club Kinetic residents as well. Marty B from 90s Ravers and Revive. Cuz. And then we've got MCs Nitro, who is an MC that I personally brought onto the scene. I gave him the mic for the first time way back when at Bowlers for Compulsion. My good friend Lox, who's our resident MC, and another good old school friend of mine who was a regular at Kinetic as a raver, and you'd know him as the black guy with the blonde wig, MC Curdy. So you can get tickets directly from me, so hit me up on Facebook under Alex MC Energy on that account only, because that's my music account. And we'll basically take payment and send you codes out for the event. There are only about 180 tickets left out of the 500. It's a small, intimate event, so I do advise you don't fuck about and think, oh, I'll get them close to the date, because you won't. You get them now or you won't get them at all. All right, Legends, enough respect, big love, raving crew, history of hardcore crew, peace, love, unity. Peace out.